We turned off the smoke alarms temporarily.
And you did it on stage.
And I did it on stage.
Oh, man, theatrics.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Yes.
You get theatrics, you get the living word, and you get science at the same time. Yes, sir. There's a big gig happening at Mystery Creek this weekend. It's called The Send, and everyone will be descending on the Send. We're talking about youth groups, we're talking about churches, and it's cool. Everyone under one roof, praising, worshipping, coming together for one purpose. There's going to be speakers, there's going to be artists performing, as Bjorn has just mentioned. One of those speakers joins us in studio this morning. She is from Church Unlimited in West Auckland. She is the campus pastor. Put your hands together. Welcome her in, Jodie Tolley. Good morning, Jodie.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Well, pleasure is ours. We get blessed to have you in studio with us. So, first things first, I don't think we've ever asked this of pastors who've come into the building, come into the studio. But how long have you been a pastor, and how did you get to where you got to? Do you get like a driver's license or something?
Yeah, what's the qualifications of a pastor?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm still trying to work it out. Oh goodness. Well, I've been working for church for many, many, many years, but not really in the role of a pastor, I suppose. I started off as just a, general work person at the church office.
Official title at the desk.
Yeah, work person. And then I became PA to my dad, who is Tak Bana, and so he's like the lead pastor of church.
I hear it all makes sense.
Here we go. Okay.
I didn't even know that.
Neither did I.
So you're
there you
Tak Bana's
go.
daughter.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Tak Bana is the lead pastor, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the official. He's a work person at Church
That's
Unlimited.
the one. He's the big boss.
Are there a lot of work people at
There's a few.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, Church Unlimited is quite a big thing. I mean, I know it in West Auckland. It's like an institution. Took over, was it the Three Guys supermarket buildings that used to be in
that's the
Glendale?
one.
Three Guys.
That's
Three
us.
Guys, yeah.
Wow.
We bought their building and
That's
renovated
impressive. Did you just follow in Dad's footsteps? Is that what your calling was? Was there a little bit of pressure from Dad?
Yeah, probably. I think, yep, definitely.
A pastor's kid destined to be a pastor.
Yeah, I mean, look, I took a detour. I did accounting and marketing and started off doing accounting. Not so much my thing. And then I think he didn't like that. So that's when he called me back and asked me to be his PA.
Yeah.
And I did that until I had some kids. And then I took a break and came back part-time just in a different role, another work office person again. And then a couple of years ago, my husband Sam, he was really the campus pastor. But he took a year out. He was still part-time at church to do that Franklin Graham tour, which was a couple of years ago. Yeah. So that left a gap, and so I needed to fill that gap. So I stepped into his role, but turns out I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
And so I stayed in that role, and he came alongside and looked after all the other campuses, and I stayed looking after the West Campus. So that's kind of how I ended up here by accident, really.
Yeah.
Or intention, but it was great.
What's the best part about being a pastor, and especially because it's quite a larger church, right?
Yeah.
Church Unlimited is quite big, and like you talked about multiple campuses and stuff. What's the best part for you about being a pastor?
I think I have an awesome team. So I love coming into the office every day and doing what I do with a bunch of great people. And then Sundays for me is my favourite day of the week. Or Sundays and Thursdays. Thursdays is our prayer meeting, and that's my thing. So I just love being with the people. I love the atmosphere. I love getting to love God and love Him with others and be able to do what's most important in my life as a job. I mean, what a privilege, right? So I love it. There's always things that are not your favourite things, but as a whole, every day I wake up and I love what I'm doing.
Can we talk about some of those challenging things that aren't your favorite things?
She's like, oh no.
What is it? I mean, because you're dealing with, you've got a workforce. Like any organization has a workforce, and when you have a workforce, you have people with different personalities.
Yeah.
So as a campus pastor, are you HR at the same time? And, do people come to you and just offload as well?
Yeah, totally
Yep.
at times. I mean, lucky we've got a big team, so I don't have to field all of it. But yeah, it's an interesting space to deal with people, especially given the last couple of years. You know, things have been hard.
Yeah.
I think views on God have changed and expectations of the church, all those kind of things. So people have their presets, and then they're coming into a place where they're not always met of how they thought or what they hoped for. So we're dealing with stuff like that. Money's always a thing.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, asking for commitment, asking people to serve, and all those things bring challenges, but also like awesome opportunities. I think one of the coolest things about church is seeing people start somewhere and then they just emerge as this amazing person with
Yeah.
so much talent that
Yeah.
you didn't even see initially, but there's so much gold in everyone. So
Well, you're
that's
one
a cool part.
you're a living example of that. Seriously. Well, you know, you've worked with Dad
Yeah.
as his PA, and then you've emerged into this wonderful campus pastor. So you're a living example of that.
I've never thought about it in this way, but actually being a pastor is somewhat kind of like being an HR manager, but for the whole church, right? Because I mean, if people come to you with all their issues, what they're going through in their faith, and where they're heading, and you're sort of being a pastor is an interesting role, right? Because there's not really defined hours and stuff too. I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of, you know, you're there to serve the people at
Well, that's why I
sometimes
said what I
the
said,
hardest
yeah.
points, you know, in their life too, like all the ups
Yeah.
and downs that your congregation and the community goes through.
Yeah,
Must be pretty special though
absolutely.
to be in that kind of trusted position in people's lives.
It is awesome. And I mean, small groups play a massive part in that.
Yeah.
So with a big church, that's like our main goal is trying to get everyone connected to a small group so they can have that one-on-one care from people around them because we can't give it all individually.
Yeah, I suppose once a church gets to a certain size too, like you turn up on a Sunday and there's people you've never seen before
Yeah,
that you've never
yeah.
met, and you're like, oh, is this your first time? They're like, no, I've been here for 3 months. You're like, is that right?
You get really good at like asking carefully.
Yeah.
Oh, how long have you been coming?
But I mean, that's the reality of
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many people. But you know, that's cool.
Yeah, totally.
Let's talk a little bit about Send.
Yes.
So, how did you get asked to speak there? Do they email you? Do they call you? Like, what's the?
Yes, I got an email. We were on holiday at the Gold Coast at the time, and I got this email from Ben
Yeah.
Finlay, asking if I would be happy to share with them on the Send. Of course, I was like blown away. What a privilege. So it was super exciting. I don't know how I got picked really, but I'm just so excited to be part of what an awesome movement, you know, calling people all across New Zealand, young people, Gen Z, and equipping them, inspiring them
Yeah.
to find their calling in God and go out and serve Him. So I think it's amazing, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
We've even got people who look after youth groups here at Rima Media who are making their way into Mystery Creek to be a part of it. So
Come
you're
on.
right. I mean, different demographic an audience. You got your young and you got your old.
Yeah.
Have you been prepped as to what you're speaking to?
Yes, they've given me kind of a topic, which is passion and fire and zeal for God, which is right up my alley. I love
yeah?
that kind of thing. So I can't wait to talk a little bit about that and hopefully share something that maybe helps someone or inspires someone out there.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so for anyone that is heading along, and we know there's thousands of people already have got their tickets. So it's going to be a cool
Yeah.
event. So it's happening Mystery Creek this coming weekend. So the 23rd, it's a Saturday, basically all Saturday. What kind of preacher are you, Jodie? Are you like a bit of audience interaction? Do you like the kind of almost the Pentecostal feedback of like you know, or do you like a quiet? Is that off-putting? What do you want from the crowd?
Oh, what do I want from the crowd? I just hope to engage them, really. I'll go with anything. I mean, it's always nice to have a crowd that's a little bit excited or there's a bit of feedback going on.
Yeah.
But hey, if there's nothing, I'll just try and make something happen.
I'll tell you what you could do. You could light your hand on fire.
I mean, I could do that.
Are you going to do that again?
You know what?
Again?
Health and safety may call it out.
Hold on. Back the truck up. I was like, what kind of question is this? What is this in reference
Okay,
to?
well, Tabby goes to the same church.
Yeah, Church Unlimited.
that Jodie goes to, and was it last night?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
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 Yeah. Okay. So what did you do?
Well, first of all, what happened was I was actually on the Sunday before, so that was fine. I was preaching 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And jokingly, I said to Dad, one day I want to do 2 in a row and have like a 2-part series. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I said to him, maybe 2026, put me on 2 in a row. And then he rings me on Sunday morning, 7:30, and he's like, I'm really sick. I can't make it. And I was like, what? And my husband Sam was at our Whangarei campus, so I was up.
Yeah.
So I had 2 hours. So I had just spoken for our intermediates a couple of weeks ago, and so I grabbed that message. And in that message, I did an experiment because they're 11 and 12-year-olds, and it's a cool one. So we're talking about the fire of God, and I was talking about we want the fire inside of us to be greater than the fire around us. And there's this experiment where you put your hand in some water with some detergent and some air freshener, and you pull out the bubbles and you light the bubbles, and your hand goes up in flames, but it doesn't burn your hand. It's very cool.
Whoa.
And so I did that at the camp, and then I quickly checked with our health and safety officers. We turned off the smoke alarms temporarily.
And you did it on stage.
And I did it on stage.
Oh man, theatrics.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You get theatrics, you get the living word, and you get science at the same time.
Signs and wonders.
That's it.
Word of warning to
Science
any
and
kids
wonders.
listening who are like, wait,
Don't.
detergent, water, and
Don't try it at home.
only do it under the supervision of your pastor. Okay, so
It sounds like you're ready. You're ready for the send. Something that we love to ask creatives and people who are impacting other people. What would you like people to walk away with from your message? And in addition to that, walk away from the send with.
Yeah. I think for me, my greatest prayer is that everyone that goes there would catch something. That they would walk away thinking, right, this is my calling, this is my life. I'm going to give it for God. I'm going to do everything I can to live out what He's placed on my life, to share my faith or whatever it is for them. I want people to walk away with more passion, but not just, I think these events are so awesome and it's amazing and you get excited when you're there. But what I'm looking at is, what do you have on Monday when you wake up? What have you still got that changes how you live, changes how you do your hour by hour, and that God's a bit bigger, that your passion is increased, and that there's more intimacy with Him, more connection with Him, not just at the event, but after the event. I think that's what I want to see people walk away with.
well,
said.
you're going to be able to, I think, rack people up and definitely give that. So we pray for you, we bless you, and we hope the
Thank
whole weekend
you.
goes amazing.
Thank you so much.
If you do want to get tickets and you're thinking, yeah, I'd love to go to the Send, thesend.org.nz. Tickets still available and you can go there. It's this weekend, Saturday, all Saturday, basically, Mystery Creek in Hamilton. And Pastor Jodie Tolley is going to be there speaking. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks,
it's been great to hear
Jodie.
your story.
Thank you.